is a little bit like the overall American story. If you go back, it starts in the East and in the Northeast a long time ago, and it starts with inputs from a lot of the European countries that settled and started in the Northeast. So when you watch American traditional, there were ideas coming and craftsmen coming from Europe, from England, from France, from Italy in the early part of the 20th century. But what happened, as in many parts of American culture, is when they were here and starting to work, something different started to develop. And in Alden's case, especially in the 40s and 50s, 1950s, American traditional was building on top of some very old traditional shoemaking styles, but the patterns were moving in a uniquely American way. In our clipper blucher 990, in the tassel moccasin, in the hand-sewn penny moccasin, and so and it feels like the same American story we often hear, the idea of the melting pot creating something that's very different. It really began, I think, American traditional began in the Northeast. There were some very interesting inputs in the 50s and in the 60s from the West Coast, particularly from the film industry. But to me, that's where we see it moving. From Alden's particular point of view, I think part of our take on American traditional is also because we have always done all our own development. It's been, whether it was my grandfather or my father or myself, there's been, I think, a very consistent line and focus on how we want the shoes to look, the balance, the proportion. So that would be our concept. It really is a uniquely American story of many original inputs, but then becoming something different after time. That's a little bit like asking a father which is his favorite child. But I can answer it this way. For me, the proof of a favorite is probably what you wear each day. And that depends on, in New England, you know, we have very different seasons. And so you'll see me through the fall and winter, a lot of times in chukka boots, a lot of times in plain toe bluchers, many times with commando or crepe soles if the weather is a little bit tough. And I think that's understandable. And for that time of year, I love them. When the weather gets warmer, I'm back in hand-sewn moccasins. I'm back in tassel moccasins. And I think that tends to be, for me, where I choose my daily shoes. We're always developing. We often don't think in terms of seasons here, which is really too bad for some of the customers. We appreciate their understanding that sometimes we come up with good ideas at very unusual times. But we do have some ideas for the season, especially in terms of material. I think right now we're going to have to keep it a little bit as a surprise. We like to work with our partners a little bit more in the Japanese market, so that what we show has a little bit of a freshness and surprise to it when we come to the season. But we're very interested right now, especially in upper leathers. We're looking at some different suedes that are very interesting, and also some leathers that are of completely natural tannages. This is something over the years we've worked with a lot. Some of you may remember, have done business with us a long time, the vegetable tan calfskins we were able to make years back. And so we're always interested in finding materials like that. And it's encouraging that in the last few years, some of our tanneries have made interesting developments in very natural materials. So we're hoping that we'll see some of that as we get into that 2011 season. It has become very popular among a young generation, and I couldn't be happier. In fact, now I like the young generation more than I like my own generation, because I really like the idea and attitude they're bringing towards product. They have an understanding for quality that I think sometimes in America my generation was a little bit not paying attention to. And I think they have a nice appreciation for authentic goods, which is obviously very important to us. We try to make sure that everything that goes into our product maintains an authentic American traditional style and quality. It has become fashion, and it's hard for me to think of Alden as a fashion company. We've been doing this for 125 years. We understand that styles come and go, fashions come and go, and we can't help but respond in some way when that changes the demand towards certain styles. But in general, we react by doing what we've always done. We appreciate very much the younger generation's interest in some of our older models and some of the traditional details. But I'm not sure that changes us. I'm not sure we react to that because it's what we always are and what we'll, and so it's easy for us to respond because we've been doing it every day. Well, the message for Beams is easy to give. We're really happy on the partnership that we've had, and you know, the years do go by, and it's been a long time now. We've worked together for quite some years, and it's been a wonderful two-way relationship. I'd like to think that our product has been a good part, an active part of Beams, but I can also tell you that working with the company of Beams, with their people, with their developers, has also helped us and has also put some fresh ideas into our minds over the years. So our message for Beams is just one of appreciation and just happy to be partners with them. For the Japanese fans of Alden shoes, a similar message. We just want them to know that we will always continue to do the very best that we can to make the shoes that they expect and shoes that they can enjoy, and occasionally shoes that will be a little bit different and fresh for them and fun as well.